What's up, co-reporters, and welcome back to my channel. It looks like Teen Mom 2, well, former Teen Mom 2 star Kailyn Lowry's bitter third baby daddy, Chris Lopez, was right, because Kail just went on her Coffee Convos podcast and announced that she's engaged and set to marry her fourth baby daddy, Elijah Scott. I've got the audio clip for you right here. But before we play it, I want to remind you guys that just the other month, Chris Lopez went on a rampage and he claimed that Kail and Elijah were secretly engaged and that they were going to get married in September. Now, here comes Kail to confirm that she and Elijah are engaged. She did not say when they're planning to marry, but I think that Chris is most likely right and that you will next find out that they got married in September. Anyway, let's take a listen to how she very casually dropped the bomb on us on the Coffee Convos podcast.
Signed up for 5 tattoos. And you have no space left. I know. Wait, are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Then why is that like that?
Well, this is like the ring that they give you before you get married.
Oh, you're engaged?
Yeah.
Were you going to announce that to anybody?
Absolutely not.
So I just put you on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely you did.
So this
Elijah will be
is ring.
extremely happy. Yeah.
Can I borrow it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's definitely not going to fit. You have to put it on.
Let me see. Oh my gosh, look at that.
I wear a size 10, so.
A size 10? I wear a 5.
So there you have it. I don't know if you can see it super clearly. You might have to pause and like screen capture and zoom in to see the ring in this video, but it's a beautiful like gold, like classic ring and everything like that. And I am happy for Kail. It seems like she and Elijah truly are happy together. It seems like he is good for her. She has seemed a lot calmer since getting with him. But I paused there and we're going to continue to listen. But I want to point out that I feel like Kail's Coffee Convo podcast co-host Lindsay Chrisley, like low-key negs her a lot. So like, here's the thing. Obviously, Kail is a bigger girl, right? She's much bigger than Lindsay. And Lindsay knows that Kail is much bigger than her. And so she asked Kail to borrow the ring. And she's like, oh, can I borrow it? Can I see? Oh, it's so big. You know, like, that's really rude. Your friend is just announcing that she's engaged. And here you are talking about, oh, I'm so tiny. Hang on. Let me strap myself down before the wind blows me away. You know, like your ring is so giant. I could wear it as a necklace type vibes. I really did not like that. Not Lindsay making me defend Kail, you know, like I don't like that type of behavior. And as we continue to listen in, you'll hear some of the things that like she continues to say about Kail. And I forgot to mention that before Kail even announced the engagement, they were having a little bit of a tiff about parenting styles. And so right now they're like in New York, they filmed that podcast, like, you know, in person. And Lindsay was talking about how like, you know, like in New York, there's just too much like hyper-actuality and stuff. There's like naked cowboy, naked cowgirls, that type of stuff. And, you know, she's got her child in the suburbs. He's not exposed to that kind of stuff. Kail says that her kids are desensitized to it. And Lindsay basically says, well, yeah, I'm not trying to get my kids to that point. And then Kail claps back by saying, well, okay, raise your sheltered child. See how that turns out when he's 18, you know, or when he's an adult. Like there's a lot of like back and forth going on. So I feel like that might have kind of like pushed Lizzie to continue being shady towards Kail when Kail announced her engagement. But I think that she's also kind of low-key jealous because she wants her ex-husband back. And that doesn't seem to be working out too well for her. Anyway, let's continue to listen to what Kail had to say.
Oh, wow. Y'all, Kail's engaged. Kail is...
And she never actually once even said that the ring was beautiful and that she's happy for her. She just said, wow, this is big. Kail's engaged. And then a bunch of nonsense.
Fucking engaged. When were you going to tell us?
Well, because...
Was this a secret? Like, am I being bamboozled? Like, what's the secret?
It's that I couldn't really make an announcement because I couldn't give you like a time that he asked me to marry him. It was just like this, like, when are we going to get married? When are we going to get married? When are we going to get married? It was like asking me to marry him all the time. And then one day he just showed up with a ring. So like, which one?
Was he like on any?
No.
So how did this play out?
Well, I was like, I like didn't take him seriously, if I'm being honest, because he didn't have a ring. And so it was just like, we've both been married already. So we both don't care about like the whole get on money and make it all romantic and stuff because that's just like not how we are.
Each other's next victims. Yeah.
Correct. And so it was like, you know, we'll play this.
So did you hear that? Like she said that very much under her breath. But when Kail was saying that she and Elijah had both been married before, so it wasn't this like huge, like, you know, romantic, like, let me set the scene sort of thing. Lindsay goes, oh, y'all are each other's next victims. Is that a normal way? Like, is that a normal way to congratulate someone? Like, it's just dig after dig here.
Right here. And like, I'll let you know if you have a ring one day, we'll like reevaluate. And then he came into the bathroom while I was getting ready, and he gave me the ring.
What was your reaction?
I was like, oh my God, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I actually think you did a good job picking it out.
No, I think you did a great job picking it out, but I think that I would have wept and canceled my entire life plans for the rest of the day.
Oh, I think I had a recording with you afterwards.
You did?
I think so.
And then it was just like so casual.
Yeah.
You know how you said that it like you don't like when people are casual?
I don't like being the center of attention, surprisingly. Like, believe it or not. So I don't ever get on one knee because that makes me embarrassed.
And you don't like opening gifts in front of people?
No. Like, truly would have been happier if you left the ring on the table and walked out.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like, why are we making this a big thing?
If you are not telling me everything that you love about me and why I'm the only person for you and why like we have to do this because it is like I am a piece of your soul. I'm upset.
Elijah is a man of very few words. If he said all of that, I would not believe him. Because I'd be like, this is not you.
I feel like you do well with a person of few words.
Yeah, I do really well. I worry for him taking him places because I don't want him to get overwhelmed or like feel like sometimes when I'm nervous, I stutter, I sweat, I do all of those things. So like if he's already an anxious person, I don't want to put him in a position where he has to like be uncomfortable.
Do you fart when you get anxious?
No.
Did you hear that question? I'm telling you, Lindsay has some kind of bodily functions, bodily fluids kink. Because there was a time where I like stopped listening to this podcast because it was very disgusting. They were talking about crap, piss, vomit all the time. And like, here she goes, your friend is engaged and you're like, do you fart when you get nervous? Like, what? Are you okay? Very, very weird stuff. But, and then anyway, so she gets to asking, well, Kail starts talking a little bit later on, and I'm about to fast forward to that mark, where she talks about now that like she's finally found her like missing piece, she should be a dating coach and that people shouldn't trust online dating coaches. Instead, they should trust this woman who managed to find herself a baby mama to 4 different men at the age of 30 years old.
Classifies you as a relationship coach, right? Like, I feel like people should trust me because I can tell you what the fuck doesn't work. I have 4 baby daddies, so I will be able to tell you what works and what doesn't. And so now going into a relationship and being with Elijah, like this is the last one. If I'm not with him, I'm going to stay single, right? Like, I feel like I have enough experience and I've dated enough people and been married, divorced, the whole nine. I would be a better relationship coach than someone who has a perfect marriage, right?
Right, yeah, I agree.
So I kind of...
She would be a better relationship coach than someone who has like a perfect, happy, healthy marriage, she says. All right, guys, let me know if you agree or disagree in the comment section on that. I do find that to be rather controversial, to be honest with you. And so as the podcast episode progresses, they get to talking about Javi because for some reason, because Lindsay is still hung up on her ex, she wants to bring up Kail's ex. And you can tell that Kail is at least slightly uncomfortable about it. She's like, listen, like, don't bring him up. Like, he'll send emails. Like, Javi really does not want to be mentioned on this show. And he has every right to not want to be. But Lindsay decided to go ahead and disregard that. And it's so weird to me that she would even bring this ex-husband up when Kail is about to marry a new husband, right?
And through all of the dating situations that I've been through over the last couple of years, I realized that's not the case at all.
Like, was he never the one, you think? Or do you think that you could have worked it out and made it work?
Yeah, no, I think anything, if you try hard enough at something, that you can make something work, but you're giving something up by making it work.
Okay.
And I'm not willing to do that. Because why would I do that? No.
Or you wouldn't do that for anyone?
No, I wouldn't do that for anyone.
Okay.
And I don't know if you felt like this after you got divorced from Javi.
He's going to come for you. He's going to send you an email.
Okay, well, my email's on my Instagram. Email me. But after you got divorced from Javi, did you ever go through a state of, was that the right decision?
Yeah, for a long time. Even now. And not that I like wish that I was with him, obviously, but like just grand scheme of things. Could we have prolonged it? Could the divorce itself have went differently? Could we have done it more amicably? Could it have been more clean and cut and dry? Could we have not gone back and forth for so long after the fact? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, was that the right decision? And if it was, did we do it at the right time?
I've asked myself all of those questions more so recently than I ever have before, and maybe it's because I'm healing, I don't know. But I'm asking myself all of those questions right now, and it's one of the hardest places to be.
Let's face it, life can be stressful. It can be...
So there you go. And there was also another moment. I should have taken a timestamp of that, but there was another moment where Lindsay asked Kail, who again is newly engaged, she goes, hey, well, will you always see Javi as your husband? And then she just starts talking about her own dating life and how, like, you know, it hasn't been working out and like she wants to get back with her ex-husband. Like, it was just weird vibes all around. But maybe I'm reading too much into it. But to me, it was just a bunch of like things like accumulating to where I'm like, do you like low-key hate this girl? Like, are you low-key like jealous or like just not liking this? Like, what's the deal, right? To like not compliment the ring and then to, you know, do the whole, oh, like it's so big kind of thing. You guys are each other's next victims. What about your ex-husband? Will he always be your husband? Like just weirdo stuff, but I digress. Let me know how you guys felt about this. And I also want to know how you guys feel about Kail being engaged to Elijah. Listen, like I said at the top of this video, I do find that she has seemingly mellowed out and she seems happier now with Elijah. And I really do hope the relationship is as good as it sounds, like from what she talks about on the podcast and everything like that. And I'm curious to know like how Chris feels now that the cat is out of the bag. Is he going to continue talking about it? Is he going to leak the color palette? Like, is he going to leak her dress? Like what more does he need? What more does he want out of Kail, you know, and what is his motivation for getting back to leaking things? Because yeah, it's true. She leaked his third child, the news of him, but then he went ahead and leaked news of like one of her many other children after him. And I thought that they were like even. Like, is it okay now, Chris? Like, have you guys reached a truce? Like, you got her back? I don't know. Let me know, you guys, in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.